Hi everyone, welcome to Entrepreneurship. This is going to be an interesting lecture as we will be discussing the 3 learning activities or ICE activities for Learning Unit 1, Theme 1, Learning Unit 2, Theme 2, as well as Learning Unit 1, Theme 2, and then Learning Unit 2, Theme 1. So yeah, apologies for last week that I couldn't make it to class. I have made it to class today. So here we go. All right, let me just check my settings. My mic is working. I'm sharing my screen. We good. So I think the purpose of today and the reason why I decided to use this approach is so that you can take your own time listening to the session. And then when we get to the ICE activity, when we get to the ICE activity, it's all about teaching you the skills that you need to answer assignment questions. So the reason why I'm doing it this way is so that you guys can develop that skill. So this will be our approach for every live lecture that we have. I will send recordings and you will do the activity. I think this might increase your abilities in the assessments, and it will be very interesting to see how the results look at the end of it all. So let me open up a worksheet. And I hope you can do this as well. I would actually suggest that you also open up a Word sheet. So please open up Word as you would, an assignment. And perhaps we could have used the assignment. Let me see if I can get the assignment template. Microsoft Generic Assessment Template. Okay, there we go. So this is what the template looks like. So obviously you have to read the instructions carefully. So they say the first page is your cover page. Fill in the details as required. Example, your student number. Do not press enter on your keyboard. Click each field to enter. So they say do not press enter. Click each field to enter. So when you fill this out, you're not going to press enter. You're just going to click. Normally when you press enter, and let me press enter to see, you see it moves down. So when it moves down, that's a bit of a problem because everything else is going to also start going down. So let's undo that and do what they said. Student number, ST101, XXXX, program code, this is PG, postgrad in PG DIP, postgrad diploma, and the code, what's the code again? Do I even know it? No, I don't know the code actually. Module lecturer, that would be me. And then module code, that would be this module, which is ENIN8421. Date of submission. And let's actually consult your PAS. So we all know that to get your PAS, all you have to do is go onto the VC website, right? And then you go onto the student intranet. In the student intranet, you scroll all the way down to your faculty, School of Management Studies. We said postgraduate in management and not the phase out one. Oh, there's the code as well. Thank you very much. Undo, paste, keep text only. And then we're looking for the date of submission for your, so we are distance. We're looking for the program assessment schedule of 2024. Here we go, let's download it. So it's the 25th of March that I know for sure. But let's just do it for, here we go. So as much as I'm going through this document, please note that you have to know this information yourself. A lecturer is not responsible for letting or showing you or telling you where or when your assignment is due. So I like the color pink. Let's change to pink today. So I like pink. Excuse me for a second, just reaching out for something that I need. Yeah, so that's the 25th of March at 1 minute before midnight. So let's go. 25 March 2024. So I hear, okay, so the assignment title, oh, do you click it here or here? Let's do it here. What are we gonna call it? Example. Let's call it example. All right, example 1.1. So it will be for and let's just maybe do that rather. LU 1.1. Right, and then theme 1. Learning unit 1, theme 1. Okay, so this will be our first one's example title of contents. This is the table of contents which you complete at the end of the assignment. Update entire table every time, and this should be in underlined, every time that you amend your assignment, or should we say the assignment. This you need to complete every time because you need to just update it. So how you update it, and here's the thing, we said update entire table, and this would be green, or should we say red, because it's so important. And let me do this properly. Okay, I don't know if I should make this red. I have a feeling I should make this red because it is of utmost importance. A table of contents basically lets you know where everything is. So yeah, so you would just say update your table, and then you always say update entire table. So maybe let me take a screenshot of that. And let me click on it. So right, the date. And I'm just gonna stick it We say okay, right? And then let's go to the reference list. After we get to the reference list, I'm going to insert another page, and I'm going to call it annexures. And then this one is annexure 1. And we're going to call it update entire table. So this, they used heading 1. So we just, for under where we say heading 3, or where we say no, we're not looking for that. We're looking for where we are trying to add, which is number 5. So annexures, we're going to press heading 1. So what's nice about the assessment document is that it is already made out for you. So if you just press heading 1, it appears here, you see. So maybe let's write it like that, because it's not registering it in caps. Annex. Oh, it's actually the one that's in caps. Okay. Annexure 1. Annexures. Okay, cool. So this one will be heading 2 because we are doing a sublist of annexures. So if there's another annexure that we're going to paste, we will be placing it here. So we're still trying to, you know, fill in and use the assessment template to complete this. And what is nice about this is that it's already showing you how you should approach your assignment. I think a lot of students, you know, and I'm also trying as a lecturer to really just bridge the gap between students that do the right thing versus not. I've seen that a lot of success comes literally just from following the rules. So students say they struggle with that sometimes. Well, not all students, but yeah. Okay, so now heading 1, let's type our student number. We said our student number is ST. Was I supposed to do that? Let's see. Let's undo. Type your student number. Not the whole thing. So 2000. No, we said ST. ST101 XXXX. Right? And then heading 1 will be what do you call it? Question, right? Now we're going to go to our ICE task, our ICE activity. We said that we are doing learning unit 1, theme 1, the nature and development of entrepreneurship. So this is really about where entrepreneurship comes from. Now, the learning outcomes that we had discussed in that learning unit, we examined the entrepreneurship theories. We had to contrast between an entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial venture, and small businesses. And then we critically discussed the entrepreneurial development model, contrasted between entrepreneurship, leadership, and management. And now, for some reason, it is highlighted that we will have to appraise the entrepreneurial process and then also evaluate the role and impact of entrepreneurship in the South African economy. So the question for this ICE activity is: the entrepreneurial process is one through which a new venture is created by an entrepreneur. This process results from the actions of the entrepreneur in bringing the resources together to form the organization in order to pursue the opportunity. There are 4 distinct phases in this process. And question 1 says, use a business idea that you have and appraise how the different phases of the entrepreneurial process would apply when trying to convert your idea into a business. excuse me, I wanted to do this. So we were trying to convert our idea into a business. We don't really know what this means, but we saw there where it said, use a business idea that you have, right? So now we've got a business idea, right? We definitely have a business idea. I think if you are a student registered for entrepreneurship, there is a 95% chance. I'd like to say 99. There's a 99% chance you have thought about entrepreneurship and starting your own business. If you're not already running your business, you definitely want to start a business, right? Or you love entrepreneurship. And yeah, and appraise how the different phases of the entrepreneurship process will apply. Now, this we know very much because it had been covered in our learning unit 1. Now, if we go to the learning outcomes, and excuse me for that, let me do it this way, right? The entrepreneurial process, it's more towards the end. Right, the entrepreneurial process. Let me check, and let's do this and do this. So we said use a business idea that you have, right, and appraise how the different phases of the entrepreneurial process would apply. So thinking about our entrepreneurial process, we're gonna go to here, and maybe one thing that could be nice would be copying the question, right? And then pasting it here, right? And we want to paste text only, and we're gonna undo that because we just wanna paste those things. It's taking over and naming. Okay, we're gonna have to do this physically, manually. Okay, and this is just normal because it's not a heading. The heading will be question. Let's see. Question 1. You see, let's go. So we're gonna say question 1. All right, so in question 1, they say use a business idea that you have to appraise the different phases. Yeah, so when we look at the phases of the entrepreneurial process, right, identify and evaluate the opportunity. So we clearly use it to identify and evaluate the opportunity. An entrepreneur must deliberately come up with creative ideas that can be converted into a business opportunity. A good opportunity is attractive, it is durable and timely, and is anchored in a product or service. I think this is supposed to be and is anchored and I hope I'm right here, and timely. A good opportunity is attractive, durable, and tiny, and is anchored in a product or service that creates or adds value for its buyer or end user. Evaluation of the idea is done through, and remember now we are using the entrepreneurial process, right? Wait, am I at the right place? Okay, it's the 4 stages. Yes, okay. The evaluation of the idea is done through identify and evaluate the opportunity. So we can probably ask ourselves here, because one thing that stands out for me is that they say that a good opportunity is attractive, durable, and timely. Now, what kind of a business idea do you have? Let's see what example can we use for a business idea. attract. We can say that an idea, right? An idea should be attractive, durable, and timely. My idea, which is true, what would your idea be? Right? And what example can we come up with? So I like clothing. I like clothing. As tired as that example could be to me, let's just go with it. I can't think of another relevant example right now of something that's a little bit more current. So let's maybe say alternative energy. So I'm talking about what you call these inverters, basically for, you know, when you have load shedding, and then you get that backup system. So it either connects to a battery or it connects to a solar panel, right? So in other words, yeah, and maybe let's do solar panels rather, because yeah, I saw a lot of them in a neighborhood that I was in this weekend. So it's yeah, distance. Yeah, anyway, solar panels. How the different phases of the entrepreneurial process would apply. Number one. Sorry, wrong slides. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Right? So our idea, we now have to ask ourselves, is it durable? Is it attractive? And I'm just going to make it a real one. Please note that you should not use bullet points, okay? This is just for the purpose of making an example, and maybe let me not use it, because some students, when they don't really read, they will rather kind of do what I said, do what I did. Yeah, because they don't, you know, like people we normally see visually rather than, you know, reading or yeah, in any other way. So attractive, yes, right? Why? Because it's relevant, right? Eskom load shedding. Guys, please use full sentences, obviously. Right? Is it durable? Depends. Why? Because you've got batteries, no and yes. If you have lithium, then yes. If you have lithium, is it a lithium battery? I think lithium. How do you spell it? Lithium battery, right? If you've got, I don't know what that other battery is called, but there's a battery, because it lasts about 1 year, whereas lithium I think is like 5 years. Is it timely? Yes, because right now Eskom load shedding, right? Always. So that's they say that's number 1.1, because now remember, this is an idea, this is one sentence this is one step out of the 4 steps. So we go back to the ICE activities. So, you know, we go back to the slides. We've just answered that it's attractive. So really, in terms of identifying and evaluating the opportunity, we say that the idea is good, right? We can conclude that the idea is good because and it passes the, what are we supposed to do? Yeah, it passes the evaluation test. Evaluation test is an evaluation. Yes, so it passes the evaluation, right? Then we've got 1.2 where we're going to answer the next one. So we now are supposed to develop the business plan, right? So and that is your heading, that you are supposed to develop your business plan. So you do your necessary research. Necessary. Come on, you had me. Necessary research. So yeah, do your necessary research, compile, make an example, or find an example of a business plan. And I think that's what maybe is missing here. But remember, we said yes, relevant ESCOM load shedding. And yeah, I guess these are the examples. So yeah, if you put it in full sentences. So also consider the mark allocation. Depending on the marks, at honors level, at postgrad level, at NQF level 8, maybe every sentence could be about 2 marks, because if I'm thinking between 1 mark or 2 marks, but it could also be 1 mark, because you really need to speak and be convincing when you have to answer a question. What I would do is I would have either 10 or 5 or 10 sentences. In fact, 2 sentences, yeah, let's say that, 2 sentences per theory question. But actually, this is not going to be, it's not going to work, this one, because yes, and let's say maybe for this question, 2 sentences to fully describe, right? Because the first sentence is that you were saying, we said we basically evaluated whether the idea is attractive, durable, and timely, right? So in the first place, we said yes to each point, right? And then we also for each point, we're going to explain or give an example. So we think that the idea is attractive, yes, because it is relevant right now. ESCOM and load shedding, you put that in a full sentence. That would get you 2 marks, maybe. Yeah, because you're just explaining it. So 2 sentences to fully describe. Yeah, that's perfect. And then develop your business plan. So this is the stage. You explain that this is the stage where you develop your business plan. And then 1.3. Determine the resources required. So we can already see that the resources required here are capital, people, and physical assets, right? So we've got capital, people, right? And physical assets. And we're gonna say what capital, or how much, sorry, how much. So we're gonna say we need X rent, X rent capital, right? X rent amount of capital. This is going to this capital. So you explain what this capital is going to pay for your what's, dims. You find, you know what capital is supposed to do. So with people, maybe then say who the people that you need, the people that you need to make your plan work, or actually to work your plan. To work your plan, right? These are right, people that are going to install the panels. We need somebody who's going to do the admin. We need somebody who's going to oversee the workers, right? Then we're going to look for somebody, we're going to need somebody who's going to look for the business, right? So there's a lot of people that we need, etc., etc. Physical assets, we need building, we need solar panels and other equipment. So you basically explain that's what you need. And again, the emphasis is on, I hope people are not getting bored because of the slowness of this pitching. The point is to show exactly what is required so that by the time you go to write the assessment, you know what to do. And I hope this is not too slow for some people that they will get lost in how boring it is rather than learning what I'm trying to teach about this. So again, 2 sentences, I would say 2 sentences to explain each point. So maximum, let me see these. Do we have I think the mistake of this is that, okay, we said 12 marks, right? Yeah, because there's 4 points for the theory, then another 6 marks for examples, right? Actually, let's then do this. If it's supposed to be, so then it's going to be, let's fix this, right? And then we're going to put there 2 sentences to fully describe. Actually, let's make it 3 sentences. Sorry about that. 3 sentences to fully describe, assuming that each sentence will be 2 points each, right? So, and it makes sense because then, let's see, the first one will be the example, explanation, or actually definition. And then the second part is where you say, so maybe the first part is an idea should be attractive, timely, and durable. So the first part, you do the definition according to the prescribed textbook. That's the first part. With everything in academics, you always have to explain the academic part. Because if you go to the end, if you only go to the example, and I'm so sorry that I almost missed this. If you go to the example, you will only get out of the 6, if that makes sense. Or again, 4, 8, 12, 3, 6, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so it's 3 points per answer. So yeah, maybe then 1 sentence is 1 mark. But I think go with your heart, but I would rather overdo than underdo if I was a student. And yeah, at honors level, if I'm trying to think, and maybe what will help us is also if we go through the assignment. Let's see what the requirements are for the assignment, and then we can say how many sentences for what, because that rubric will really help us. So question 1.1, they say an important part of studying a business is to ensure that you have evaluated the idea and determined its potential. As part of deciding on your business idea, discuss the following in line with the entrepreneurial process, which is what we're doing actually. Identify and evaluate the potential opportunity. Oh, do we have somebody in the room? Please unmute yourself, bro. Let's talk. Identify and evaluate the opportunity.
I was actually enjoying it.
Okay, cool, because I thought you'd be getting bored.
No, I'm enjoying it.
All right, cool, perfect. So I'm just trying to now check. If we look at the assignment, where's the assignment? right? 20 marks. In this section, you're required to choose a business name, discuss the core function of your business, what the core function of your business will be, as well as the type of value it will add to your customers. So a business name and core function of your business. So we basically here have to explain what the business is all about. 3 marks basically here, as well as the type of value it will add to your customers. Here you're just basically talking poetry about your business. Determine the potential resources required. And here we just did this one because if we look at ICE activity 1, and in fact, let's talk about point number 2. Let's see, we wrote it in our assignment. We said capital what. Point number 1.3, ne? Which is 3 here. Right, we've just done this part. So that's like 20 marks. I'm trying to determine exactly like how many sentences are required for like, you know, how much marks.
Yeah. And honestly, when I look at it, the ICE task, which is due today,
Yes.
12 marks is a little bit small for me, honestly, for the actual task at hand.
No, but I'm talking about
the assignment.
okay, what are you saying? Say that again.
Oh no, I'm just saying for the ICE task, 12 marks
12
allocated
marks.
is a little
Yes.
bit
Too little.
yeah. But
Perfect. I don't mind that you said that. And let me tell you why, right? I think that when you answer a question, right, and this is the discussion on like how you approach it, right? 3 sentences. Sorry, can you please just hold on?
Sure.
Oh, sorry about that. So if you answer a question, right? When you answer a question, number one, the first thing that you must do is that you must define whatever it is that is being talked about. Do you understand? So if, for example, you're going to say, where's this point? Capital, right? We said capital, people, and physical assets. So if we look at capital, let's say capital, people, and physical assets. Capital, people. So the first thing that you need to do is explain each. So yes, you're right. Already that's like 3 marks, right? Explain each definition according to the thing. So it's 3 marks, and it could even be 6 as well if I'm being. Let's see, man. Let's see. That's why I was looking at the assignment rather than the ICE task, because the ICE task I set myself, whereas the assignment it's set by somebody else, and this is the standard. You see, it's yeah. So we have to calculate it using this 20. So we agreed that this first part is like 3 marks, and let's look at the rubric because we're supposed to say what. The first thing is the business name, and then the poetry, and then determine the potential resources, and then how you plan to start and manage the business. And if we look at the rubric, okay, marking criteria, question 1, 20 marks, right? So they say here that, yeah, so if you've done well, you get all these 20 marks. And if you've done excellently, the entrepreneurial process displays an exceptional understanding of the identifying and evaluating potential opportunities, showcasing creatively evaluated assessments. The outline of potential resources required provides an extensive detailed. The outline of the potential resources required provides an extensive detailed and well-supported depiction. Yeah, man. So I think, you know, this is what's interesting about honors level. It's so poetic because you have to go and fetch your marks, you see. So I think when we are reading as markers, we want to see that you've got a cohesive story. Remember, at honors level, you are number one supposed to know the definition, and when you define it, you're also supposed to reference. And let me maybe rather stick to that. Okay, let me not allocate marks. You're supposed to have a reference, because what you do is you go to your textbook. I'm using these slides because they're just easy to use for the purpose of class, but please, you would be using your textbook, right? Finding your answers in your textbook. And then you're going to reference, because remember, this is you find from whomever, right? Kimang, Niman, and Niman. Who's the guys that wrote this book? Niven and Niemann, yeah. So then you reference them, right? And where are we? Right? Or reference, and let's put them like that. Okay, undo. Are you driving? You sound like you're in a car. Nivenheisen and Niemann.
No, that must be the echo.
It's so loud. I hear like a zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, so Nivenhuizen and Niemand, right? And please don't switch it off on my behalf. Like, it's really not that loud. I'm just teasing, but it's just that I can hear it. Nivenhuizen and Niemand, right? You're going to reference them, because remember, you get the answer in the textbook, and that's how referencing works. So these guys, they talk about capital, people, and physical assets. So you find, I think, to talk about capital, explain what capital is, right? Explain what capital is and how you, and what are we going to need it in your business plan. So do you see that's 2 sentences at least? You see?
Yeah. Understandable. Yeah.
And that's true. Yeah. So for everyone, you're going to do the same. For people, you're going to do the same for people. Agiri. What people is. Right? And then the third one is what? Capital, people, and physical assets. Right? What people is. And then, oh, that sentence was actually, this was an example. Yeah. Paste. Explain what physical asset is and how you need it in your business, right? Or you can make examples. Always provide examples. So do you see, for every kind of point that you make, you kind of have to have four sentences about it. You see, because you first explain it. You're going to say what it is according to the textbook, right? Explain what it is, and then how you need it, or then make. So maybe that's the example. So maybe 2 sentences per question then, if it's like this. But you cannot just say one thing. And yeah.
With the case of a textbook, does it have to align with what the textbook says, or obviously I guess further research would more or less do the same?
So what's interesting about that is that when you use the textbook, right, and please always use the textbook, right? So when you answer these questions, you have to use the prescribed textbook, because the other textbooks, they can differ. And that's the beauty. And that's why you must always start with your textbook, because then what you're going to say is, the first thing is when you define it, right? And this is why we use the tier method. Remember, I said in your what's his name, you must use the tier method, right? And this is what will get you the full marks. If you use this thing, this is what it's going to answer your question. Okay. So the first thing is that you list the theory from your prescribed book, how to answer a theory question, right? You list the theory from your prescribed textbook. Now, remember, here we're talking about capital, physical 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 assets or kitty.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? People, right? So you're going to define according to the textbook, right?
Okay.
So you're gonna say this textbook, you're gonna say Niman and Niman is right? Those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna say Niman and Niven and Niman, right? 2019. Okay, let me do it properly because students, people that are watching this, and this is actually supposed to be and because it's in a bracket. Sorry about that. Even and Nimat, right? So you first define it according to them. Then according to this thing is that the second thing is that you're going to explain the theory in your own words, right? And when you explain the theory in your words, on your own words, you're going to further expand on it.
Yeah.
So you're going to say, for instance, capital, according to Niemann, capital is what, right? Then you're going to say, for instance, in my business, because remember, that's where you come up with another sentence, right? And yeah, and in fact, these 2 points here you just list. Ne? The first point is just you list, and here it is, you list the theory. So you say capital, the what of Niemann and what is capital, physical assets, and people, right? Then step 2 says explain the theory in your own words. Then you're gonna say capital is what. For example, in my example, because remember we used what? Renewable energy business, right? So in the example of my renewable energy business, capital would be used to get the building, to get the physical assets, to get the people. I get right. And then the third step says then you provide the example. So that's where the example came in, right? So here you listed it, you said capital, physical assets, and people, and then step 2 you explained the theory in your own words. So you said capital means what. People means what. Remember, because you can't copy verbatim what the author said. So for instance, and my slides are verbatim, and that's why I like using them. I copied them verbatim from the textbook because I'm trying to teach you what's in the textbook. So I didn't change it. These are none of my words, you see. So if they say, for instance, and I don't have the full sentences, but capital for investment in the venture, you already explain what is your venture, how will that work, right? And then you provide the example. After you provide the example, and this is where the honors level comes in, right? And that would be step 4, right? We've provided an example, right? Then step 4, we will provide an additional resource in the form of another example, right? Another definition, or another definition, or a real world experience, right? So now what I would do here then is say, other researchers, right, don't agree with what Nivenhuizen and Niemann said, and this would be because they said something that is different. Do you understand where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah.
So Nivenhuizen and Niemann, remember, let's say for instance, they said capital, physical assets, and people. Maybe those other authors, they said capital, physical assets, and money.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, we just capital. Okay, but you get what I'm saying. So then you would speak on the beauty of how they have embraced other things, you see.
Yeah.
So the only difficulty is that, and the reason why I say you must always use the textbook is that when you use this textbook, you're basically going to be in agreement with the memo. Remember, we're trying to pass here. right? And you want to make sure that everything that you write makes you pass. So there are certain very rare instances, in fact, maybe not that rare, okay? I've seen it a lot as a marker. When students use different, what do you said capital what and whatever other, so you said something different, then it becomes challenging for me as the reader, because then I'm really going to find out, are you really talking about knowing what you're talking about? But then if the answers are completely wrong, there are certain elements of the rubric that you are going to miss, you see, and then you're going to get less marks. Yeah, so hence always use the textbook, because in step number 4 you're going to use another resource anyway. So when you use that extra resource, what you're doing is you're making your answer richer. Then in terms of those marks, you're very well able to get excellent. And all it takes is that extra sentence, because students, and let me go to the tier method, students normally stop at step number 3. Students will normally list the theory, right? And then they'll explain it in their own words, sharp, and then they'll provide an example. Non-student ever goes and provides an additional resource. And remember when I said it's poetic in honors level, because when we look at the rubric, right? This is listen to how poetic even the sentence is. They say the outline, and we're describing what various aspects of the entrepreneurial process. They say the outline of potential resources required provides an extensive, detailed, and well-supported depiction, demonstrating a deep understanding of the business requirements. So if I have to think to myself, what is the deep understanding? If you've gone the extra mile, and think about it in life too, if you go the extra mile, somebody will definitely reward you for that. So that's how you get excellent. Not every student gets it, and that's if you don't, you'll end up at average or above average. So please use the tier method. It's a method that I have developed myself, okay? I developed this because I know what it takes to answer questions fully. When students do this, you get literally good marks. Then it all depends on, the words that you used. But from there, you have done more than enough, and that's where we need you to be. So what was your question, and have I answered it? The other resource, you were basically asking about using the other book. Yes, use it, but also don't forget to use the prescribed text. Use both of them for every answer. And remember, when you remember in your assignment, right, you're going to have a reference list at the end of your assignment, correct? Now that reference list, it comes from that build-up. You see, if you get 3 examples, you're already done. 3 sources from other authors, and it doesn't always have to be what they say, or it's it gets interesting. But yeah, please use definitely the textbook and others. So not just the one or the other. It can't work either way. And I mean, for honors level, you guys are supposed to have minimum 8 what do you call it? 8 academic sources, if I'm not mistaken. What was it? Yeah, and it's so easy to just get marks here. Let me see. But yeah, so anyway, that's how you do it for every answer. So this goes for every question and every answer that you've been asked. All right, so to close this one off, let's go to the slides, and we say starting and managing the enterprise, right? So here you explain that according to Neiman, this is what starting and managing the enterprise is when you physically now implement the business plan, right? Then you make an example. For instance, I go physically to the shop and I open it, I start making calls, I start seeking business. If you're in the renewing energy, you're getting on your laptop, you're starting a marketing plan, you're implementing everything, you're going to work basically, right?
Yeah.
And then where is it here? And I think it was on the Was it on the template? Question 1. Yeah, that's 1.3. Then this one would be 1.4, right?
Yeah.
Starting and implementing the business. So you explain what it means. According to literature. Every time you always have to go according to literature, right? And then you provide an example. And then you use another, you say what other authors said. Or you can use a physical example, and this is what's poetic about it. You can actually enjoy studying. Think about it when you start and managing the enterprise, right? This is something that you can literally like Google examples. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
get on your
Yeah.
Google and then you just
You'll
insert
find.
it and then you say examples. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You'll find anything there.
You'll find anything. Who started and managing their business? We know real life examples of these kinds of things. I mean, I don't know if you've watched the videos that I sent, the recordings. There was the guy Buyos, that video of Buyos. Buyos
Yeah.
he's a big, big dreamer. I don't know if you know that Edward, he is. So I
Yeah.
used
I know.
Buyos as an example in one of the recordings, in one of the learning units. And if you can use, then you can say, for example, Buyos, who was a big, big dreamer when he started his business there in Jan. You get what I'm saying? So you
Mm-hmm.
really here use world life examples. If this is what you're going through yourself, use yourself as an example. This is where you go wild because now you don't, you yes, you need references, but you can also enjoy it in terms of putting in your own feelings about it. I mean, who really wants to discuss physical assets? Nobody, right? But
Yeah.
if you say physical assets of the business that I need, okay, then I want to talk about it. I don't want to explain what it is. I don't want to explain what it means, but I really want to talk about how it can help, help me with my business.
Mm-hmm.
Owning land, owning buildings. That is some big time stuff there. All right. So that would be that question for learning unit 1. Okay. And it was long, but I really, really hope that, it has helped you to kind of see where everything, how
Yeah. Or if it's
everything
in.
fits. So yes,
Yeah.
definitely the 12 marks, we can remove those. So it's all poetic. I'm going to say it's all poetic. And that
Sorry.
means you go according to the tier method.
Okay.
Yes. So it's 4 sentences or 4 approaches to each. So, and here, and if I go back to this tier method and I want to go to this one, um, where is it? Yeah. So we said, explain the theory in your own words. You're gonna explain like this. You're gonna say capital, explain. Do you understand? Physical
Mm-hmm.
asset, explain. You're not gonna explain them in one sentence because one sentence will get you 2 marks.
Yeah. We need more.
You get what I'm saying? So consider the
Mm-hmm.
mark allocation. Consider the mark allocation. There's such a thing as sentences that are sentences. The shorter and succinct your sentences are, the higher your propensity to write, and therefore the higher the probability that you will get good marks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
And I hope it makes sense. Even when you make an example, you make an example of each, right? Example of capital, example. So it's not just
Okay.
one sentence for each, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then even with regards to the additional resources from other authors, right?
Oh God.
And what's happening?
Oh, sorry.
Is
Load
your
shedding.
battery dying? Or load shedding?
Uh.
No, if I lose you, it's fine. I'm still here. I'll go on with myself.
Okay.
What do other
Yeah.
sources say?
I think I'm gonna have to let you continue, no?
No
I'm still in.
problem. All right.
Sure. Thank you though so
Your
much.
phone is cutting. It's all right. Yeah, man, cool. Please watch the recordings.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yes. All right, cool. Cheers. Yeah, so I think as slow as this went, this is really how you answer a question. And this is the method that I would qualify as NQF level 8. Remember, guys, you guys are honors. This is post-grad. At post-grad level, you cannot be lazy. You cannot be, how we were trying to pass what do you call this, um, varsity, or first year, second year, third year, by cramming. And no, let's use here at honors level, we need to embrace a different approach. This is a research based qualification. So everything that you do, and this we have taught you from first year, it has to be research based. I see now that I have been on the phone for about an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for this session. Yeah, it was long and detailed, and maybe we won't have to do it again in this, in the detail, because next time we'll just be going on. Like, for instance, I won't have to explain, that you have to answer the physical campus. You get what I mean? We know now that this is the requirement for every question, and I'm glad that we did this. Then what we can do is we next time we just keep it going. So I'm glad we actually went this slow. This is, yeah, it was slow but valuable work. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening further. Bye-bye.